Obviously, spoilers ahead. What can I say about Elden Ring that hasn't already been said? Elden Ring is FromSoft's latest and greatest game, with a bigger map, bigger mobs, and yes, bigger crabs. 2022 has been a great year in gaming for me. I played Red Dead Redemption 2 for the first time in January, and I instantly pushed it to the front of my greatest games list. Rockstar Studios managed to make a game with perfect characters, perfect action, perfect settings, perfect gameplay, and yet I'm not doing a review of Red Dead 2, because Elden Ring managed to top that. As my first Souls-like game, I was ready to get my ass absolutely handed to me. And I did. I died time and time again, and I loved every step of the way. It's hard to put into words the chemical dependency my brain has to this game. It's just so damn good. This game is so antithetical to the whole gaming industry. Companies say, all gamers want is online games. There's no use putting time and money into a narrative that people will only play once. Elden Ring is the opposite. It is easily the biggest game I've ever played, and just like Breath of the Wild, it uses massive in-game markers to show you where to go. You open up the door and bam, there's a giant ash tree, and you instantly start wondering what's going on with that. But you don't even get time to think about that because bam, now there's a giant riding a horse. The Tree Sentinel will forever hold a place in my heart for the hours I spent as a level 1 Tarnished fighting for my life, dying like 20 times. But every time I die, I learn something. How to roll away from the attacks, how long each attack takes, and finding windows to counterattack. And man, when you finally beat that boss, the feeling is indescribable. Limgrave should be studied by all AAA companies on how to open a game. First, there's the Tree Sentinel, and then there's this camp filled with soldiers of Godric. And then, hey, what's with the swamp? And oh my god, that's a dragon. The game is so big that in the starting level, there's a mimic chest that takes you all the way to the Scarlet Rot Swamp of Caelid. And once you realize this map is huge, what's even better is that Caelid is not even a fraction of the rest of the map. After you take on the soldiers in the Gatefront ruins, you'll eventually get up to this gate. It's guarded by a giant who jumps down and blocks your way. Keep going, and you'll get to the main story boss of Limgrave, Margit the Fell. I've heard horror stories about Margit. I've seen streamer after streamer die underleveled to Margit. And my honest thoughts? Margit is the one thing making Elden Ring more accessible. Think about it. Margit teaches all the players who came to him, grossly underleveled, the valuable lesson of running away. Very bravely running away. I think that this instant difficulty spike shows that new players that they should go explore elsewhere until you feel ready to fight him again. This is a lesson that will take you through the entire game. Every boss you fight too early shows that there's stuff you still need to find. Maybe you need to collect more runes or upgrade your weapon. All stuff that makes you explore the wonderful world FromSoft's made. Stormveil Castle is the place most people will advance to next after killing Margit. It's the first main legacy dungeon of the game, and boy is it a great one. At the entrance, there's the shriveled man sitting under a torch. He warns you not to use the heavily guarded front gate, but to go around. Most do, but if you choose the gateway, you'll be met with a shit ton of Godric soldiers. This not only builds atmosphere for this castle, it also coaxes you to take the back way through the castle. Taking this way really makes you feel like you're sneaking around for your life, not knowing the right way through and being wary of every dark corner. Once you get through the castle, you have to fight Godric the Grafted. Godric is one of my favorite bosses in the game. From all the hands grafted on him, making him look like a spider, or the way he screams, to the literal dragon head he attaches to himself halfway through the fight. The fight is much easier than Margit for where you are at in the game though, but it's an incredible spectacle. Liurnia the Lakes is such an enthralling piece of art. It's a swamp level, but it's the most beautiful swamp I've seen in a game. Liurnia is filled to the brim with creatures, whether it's some giant crustaceans, a crystal dragon, or giant hands. Liurnia has it all. This is the land of magic. Most creatures are magic wielding or absolute Lovecraftian abominations. The Academy of Raya Lucaria lies here too as the second major dungeon. This is a magical school with sorcerers galore. The Academy itself is guarded by a magical seal that can only be broken once you defeat a crystal dragon. Renala, Queen of the Full Moon, resides here, the third of the main story bosses, and boy, she is a great one. Her first phase is pretty simple. Take out the followers that are highlighted with a golden glow to break Renala's shield, and damage her when you break it. Phase 2 is absolutely amazing. Phase 2 consists of Renala at her full power. She casts awe-inspiring spells. My only gripe with the fight is that it's too easy. Later in Liurnia, you find the Caria Manor. This is where Elden Ring's Lovecraftian horror reaches a high. You enter the manor. You are immediately greeted with these giant spider-like hands, some with so many fingers you can't even count. It's truly horrific, but not as horrific as the next area. Caelid is as close to hell that you get while playing Elden Ring. It's a swamp filled with a horrible disease, scarlet rot, and some of the most terrifying creatures in the entire game. From giant dogs that stand on two legs, to giant dragons around every corner. It's truly the definition of a nightmare. Once you get far enough, you'll come across Castle Redmane, the home of the great demigod Radahn. Radahn and another demigod, Malenia, had a massive fight. Malenia won and spread her scarlet rot all over Caelid. Radahn lived on, however. At Castle Redmane, a festival is going on. Radahn is so far gone that all he wants is to die an honorable death in battle. In this festival, people from all over the lands between come to fight him. The battle itself is truly beautiful. Radahn's moveset, though difficult, doesn't feel unfair. It really feels like you are battling a god. But man, the satisfaction you get after beating Radahn, it is beyond anything else in this game for me. Caelid is such an amazing example of getting setting right. No matter where you go, you're always reminded of the horrors of the scarlet rot. The dark red sky is an ever-present reminder of the bloodstained land you're traveling through. Finding both pieces of the Dectus medallion allows you to enter the next main level, the Altus Plateau. This is my favorite looking area in the entire game. The flowing golden trees and golden grass really makes you feel like the end of the game is near. The spectacle is amazing too. Whether it's a windmill town full of dancing people or a giant volcano manor, this place has it all. I do think, however, the Altus Plateau has the weakest bosses in the game. Bosses such as Wormface, they are just kind of annoying and not really fun. But that's my only gripe with the area. The main dungeon here is the Volcano Manor, which is on top of the demigod Rykard. Now, Rykard is a gimmick fight. They give you a Serpent Hunter weapon, and it's the only good way to do the fight. Despite that, I think this fight is wonderful. The voice acting, too, is just amazing.
Join myself and King as remedy. Together we will devour the very gods.
And the way Rykard looks is just pure Lovecraftian horror. It's truly, truly wonderful. Now, everything after here is towards the end game, so I won't go in depth, but definitely stay away if you don't want spoilers. After the Altus Plateau, you get to the capital. This is where the Great Erdtree resides, the same giant one that you saw on the horizon throughout the entire game. The capital is a little disappointing for me. I found that where I had to go wasn't very clear and I was confused at some points. But once you find where you need to go, it's amazing. You get to fight my favorite boss in the game too, Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. Godfrey is a perfect boss. As close to perfect as you can get. The way he talks, so noble yet intimidating. It's so good. You know what? Just watch the cutscene.
It's been a long while, Morgoth. Long Long and hard didst thou fight, tarnished warrior, spurned by the grace of gold. Be assured the Elden Ring resteth close at hand. Alas, I am returned. To be granted audience once more. Upon my name as Godfrey, the first Elden Lord.
Every attack is so smooth. He telegraphs them enough, but not so obvious that you never get hit by them. It's truly unbelievable that people were able to make a boss this good. But that's not even the whole story. Halfway through the battle, Godfrey rips this lion off his back to fight you as his true form of Hoarah Loux. Not only does he look badass, but his attacks are much more aggressive. He'll straight up just try and grab you and smash you into the ground like he's some kind of WWE fighter. And when you beat him, you truly feel like you have killed God. Elden Ring might be my favorite game of all time. From the amazing game mechanics, sprawling vista, beautiful story, and unbelievable bosses, a game like this is a once-in-a-generation game. I don't know if I'll ever see another game as universally loved as Elden Ring has been at launch. We're almost 2 months out from the game's release, and here I am releasing a stinking review of it. But my review, if you're too long, didn't want to watch this video, 10 out of 10, must play. You need to play this game. This game, it's addicting. It's life-changing. So thank you all for watching this long review video. I'll be putting out more content soon. Thanks, everyone.